Good morning, Daksh.
Good morning, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. My voice is audible.
Yes, very audible. Let's wait for others to join.
Today is on last chapter.
Yes, we have to begin with the last chapter today, Daksh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, today we can complete our chapter 11.
Yes. But I think we'll be able to complete a chapter today only. So we won't be requiring an extra
Ma'am.
class. Yes.
Ma'am, can I send you my geography chapter and civics chapter 9 tomorrow?
Yes,
For
you can
checking?
say. Okay, so shall we get started, kids?
Ma'am.
Okay. So it's a very easy chapter. As you know that we have already read so much about equality, right?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Bita. We know we have
Ma'am,
read
I have
about.
sent. Ma'am, I have sent the PDF, ma'am, yesterday. Ma'am, question.
Yes, I've seen that, Bita. Okay. So what I was saying is that yes, I was saying that we have read a lot about equality. We have read the chapters like gender inequality, right, and the chapter women's world,
Democracy and equality.
democracy and politics. All these chapters we have seen that how important equality is for us, but still, even after all the efforts, there are still some people who are not treated equally, right? There are still some people who face inequality, and most of these people tend to be poor, right? So most of the people who are being treated unequally are tend to be poor. And I think poverty and lack of resources remain the primary factors that force people to accept conditions below levels of equality. If you do not have proper money, if you don't have proper resources, then you do not raise your voice as well. You just get going and whatever it is. Right? In our country, Dalits and women have been the people who have been suffering from inequality, who have suffered inequality a lot. You know who are Dalits children?
Ma'am. No, ma'am.
Daksh. Okay. So
Ma'am, in the
Dalits refers to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes.
Ma'am, SC.
SCs and STs are known as Dalits. Right?
Ma'am.
Hanji.
Ma'am.
Yes, Daksh.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Picha.
Is my answer correct?
Yes. Okay. So in our country, Dalits have been treated unequally a lot, right? And it's not only in our country, in other countries as well. Everybody has struggled for equality. In every country, there has been some or the other type of discrimination, inequality. So, like in our country, we have read about some reformers who have fought for inequality. Can you tell me the name of those reformers?
ma'am, United States में Martin Luther King.
No, I'm asking about the reformers of our country. We have read about them in women's world, gender inequality.
Ma'am, Lal Bahadur Shastri.
Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Pandita Ramabai, all are the names which we have read, right? These people fought for equal treatment for women,
Good.
right?
Ma'am,
Good
Lal
morning,
Lajpat Rai.
ma'am.
Yes. Lal Bahadur Shastri was a freedom fighter.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Abad. Right? So all these people have fought for it. Similarly, in USA, there was a person known as Martin Luther King. He became famous for his struggle against racial discrimination in the form of civil rights movement. Do you know what is racial discrimination? What is racial discrimination, children?
मैं don't
Ma'am,
know.
black and white people.
Right. Discrimination between on the basis of your skin color. Right. Discrimination on the basis of race means discrimination on the basis of your skin color. The differentiation or the inequality between blacks and whites. Right. That is क्या बात है कृष्णा and यश क्या हो गया है? What is it?
मैं what?
Why are you so smiling? Don't have time to waste. No, don't do that.
No, ma'am, nothing.
Ma'am, they would be chatting, ma'am, and telling jokes to each other in the chat box.
No, ma'am, you can
Yes.
see the chat box. Ma'am, he was asking me for question answer on the WhatsApp.
That's why you're smiling.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, he saying smile करो एक बार देखते हैं.
No, ma'am.
Seriously, yes, you are requesting him to smile for you.
No, ma'am.
Seriously,
Ma'am, I
yes.
can send the screenshot. Ma'am, I can send the screenshot.
Okay, right. So yes, Martin Luther King fought for racial discrimination, discrimination on the basis of skin color in the form of civil rights movement, and his contribution to the society have been noteworthy, right? Just like USA, people in India have also come together and they have also fought a lot in their sections of people such as fishermen, tribals, agricultural laborers, slum dwellers, etc. have been treated unequally a lot in India. So today in this chapter, we are going, I've told you the case study of this chapter is very important. So in this chapter, we'll talk
Yes,
about a group of people of Madhya Pradesh who came together in the form of Tawa Matsya Sangh to fight against the unequal treatment. Okay, Krishna, read what is this Tawa Matsya Sangh?
ma'am, Tawa.
Matsya Sangh.
Ma'am, I don't know, ma'am. Ma'am, I
Read,
heard my
beta,
first time
read.
this
I
name.
asked you to read.
Okay, ma'am. Tawa Matsya Sangh case study. Whenever the government undertakes the task of building dams or bring a forest area under its control for building a sanctuary, there are thousands of people who become displaced. In making, ma'am, who is this?
Aditya
Ma'am,
Pratap, ma'am,
Ibad.
we do in some classes and this.
Ma'am, Ibad,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
who was that?
The sound was of a bad.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Ma'am,
okay.
actually, Ibad is doing in the
Who
name
was
of
that?
Aditya.
Okay, do your work. Just keep
Ma'am,
saying.
in making such project such as thousands of villages are cleared out and people are forced to move uh, elsewhere with promises by the government to
To
rehabilitate
rehabilitate
them.
them.
Rehabilitate them. Such a displacement breaks havoc in the life of these villagers as they are forced to live in areas unknown to them. Their mean of life, life, livelihood, and their
Livelihood.
children education, livelihoods, hood and their children education suffers. Let us learn about some instances and how people struggle to achieve their rights.
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am, this one.
And what's the meaning of
Fighting.
rehabilitate?
Right, rehabilitate. Abhi, I'm going to explain this to you. Rehabilitate means to shift them. Like they have taken away their land. Like you know what are dams, children? You know dams are the
Yes,
multi-purpose
ma'am.
structures, right? They're built over a large area, and
Ma'am, I have seen.
whenever dams are constructed, large areas of lands are cleared out. Like whether they are forests, there the forests are cleared out. The villages are cleared out. Now we know who live in the forest apart from the animals.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, villager. Ma'am, sorry,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
tribal people.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tribal peoples live in the forest nearby in the villages. A lot of villagers live, and if they're clearing out these forests and villages, then what are they doing? They are just taking away their land, right? The houses of those people, and the government promises them that okay, you just vacate this land for now. We'll rehabilitate you. Like we'll provide you another house to live in. We'll provide you space to live in. But as we know, the government of India, these promises are rarely met, right? They are not met
Yes, ma'am.
100%. They're rarely met. And what happens is that since these people we know they are totally dependent on forest and the villages for their livelihood, when they shifted to another place that which is totally unknown to them, they do not know what to do. They don't have work to do. Their livelihood suffers. Since they don't have work to do, they do not have money. That is why they could not send their children to get educated, right? So the children's education suffers, right? That is what we are going to read about. One such people who have been shifted, right? Their livelihood was disrupted, but then they did not just kept quiet and they just kept suffering. No, they raised their voice. They started an organization, a committee, and then they got what they wanted. Okay, yes, read.
Okay, ma'am. Fighting for the displaced people. We will learn about Tava Matsya Singh, a
Sang.
cooperative of the
Okay,
FISA.
Sang.
Okay, ma'am. A cooperative of the fishermen who fought for the rights of displaced tribals of Satpura forest in Madhya Pradesh to fish in the waters of the reservoirs created by the construction of a dam here. A
Underline the
dam
children
was
a very, very, very important point from what is Tawamatsya Sang. Tawamatsya Sang is a cooperative of the fishermen who fought for the rights of displaced tribals of Satpura forest. Right, till dam here. This is the answer of the two questions which we have to do. So please underline.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Ma'am, there are only 6 questions.
ma'am, today Daksh is absent.
Why are you worried about that, Iqbal?
Ma'am, because today is class is very quiet.
Be quiet.
Ma'am, to Dakshin, ma'am, today ma'am, Iwad is not speaking. Ma'am, that's why.
Daksha's friend come.
I am here only, what not go anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
yeah, what ma'am is telling, I'm doing that. I'm underlining that point. What are
Good, Daksh. Very good. Yes,
Oh
yes, you
my.
were saying something
Ma'am, you can see
Ma'am,
on
underline
WhatsApp.
from highlight, ma'am.
on WhatsApp. You have sent me the screenshot. Yeah, yes.
Ma'am, personally.
Okay, fine. इतना मारूंगी ना मैं कृष्णा, I'll get you such a tight slap.
Yes, ma'am, what?
Ma'am, how much?
Quiet.
Ma'am, what
ma'am?
happened?
Amad is saying how much slap.
How
Ma'am,
many
what
slaps?
happened?
Right.
Arey, what
Okay.
happened, ma'am? What happened?
So you
Yes,
have
ma'am, what
underlined Tava
happened?
Matsya Sang, right? You have underlined Tava Matsya Sang. It is very important, the entire paragraph, children, right? So what happened was that a dam
Ma'am,
was going
question
to be
can be framed.
a question is there.
Ma'am, question is given in D. Ma'am, in
A
10,
question
20
is
verse.
given there, right? Yes. A dam was constructed and completed between, again, just underline this. A dam was constructed and completed between 1929 and 1978 over Tawa, which is a tributary of river Narmada. What is Tawa? Tawa is a river which is a tributary of the major river Narmada. Tributary are the small rivers which joins the main rivers, right? Now the
Ma'am, look,
construction
ma'am, located where?
in Madhya Pradesh.
Ma'am, okay.
Okay. So the construction led to the submergence of large areas of forest.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm closing my camera because your voice is breaking a lot.
Okay. Right. Now the construction led to submergence of large areas of forest and agricultural land. What happened when they were constructing the dam? A large number of forests and agricultural lands were submerged under the dam, which displaced a huge number of people from the surrounding forest areas. Right? Now the tribals who
Yes, ma'am.
inhabited in these areas received very little or no compensation for their submerged land. उनके जो lands submerged हुए थे डैम के अंदर उसके लिए या तो उन्हें बहुत ही कम या फिर compensation मिला ही नहीं. They did not even get it. Most of these people settled in small villages near the reservoir. Reservoir जो बना था वो डैम का के पास small villages में जाके रहना शुरू किया उन्होंने. And these people resorted to fishing as an occupation to earn their living. They were like now, so they did not have anything else to do. So they thought because Sorry. Because they could not do agriculture there now, right? So since they
Yes,
could not
ma'am.
do agriculture, so they thought that they can now do at least fishing in the reservoir. That's how they can earn something, right? Now, what did happen? Fishing in Tawa reservoirs was being carried out by state level corporation either directly or through private contractors. वहाँ पे fishing करा रहा था state, and the state was hired some private contractors, but these private contractors also started exploiting the workers. When fishing rights in Tawa were given to private contractors in 1994, it created problems for the villagers. What problems did it create? Like these contractors threatened the villagers and destroyed their livelihood by either paying them too little for their catch or bringing in labor from outside. Either they were hiring them at very low cost, or if they were not ready to work at such a low price, then they used to get labor from somewhere else. Now again, the people of near the tower start to suffer. So as a result, the villagers decided to unite. They came together and they formed an organization for their own fight for the fishing rights in the river. Then they fought with the government, they fought with these contractors, they formed an organization and they said that no, we have the rights to fish in this river and we will do it independently, will not do it under the contractors. The organization that came up was Tava Matsya Sangh, right? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So it is also
Yes,
known as
ma'am.
TMS. TMS led an agitation for the fishing rights of displaced people in the form of chakka jam and rallies. They started doing jam, they started doing dam to jam kar diya, ya phir rallies kari. By the end of 1996, TMS was able to acquire fishing rights and fishing marketing rights in Tawa for 5 year period, right? And their struggle actually helped them. For 5 years, they got the fishing rights in the Tawa River, right? Now with TMS looking after the affairs of the villagers, things improved. Now since TMS was looking after things, they were looking whatever the villagers need. The 480 fishermen from 330 village cooperatives in the Tava Reservoir were now able to catch around 250 to catch fish for around 250 to 270 days in a year. And their catch increased and their incomes tripled. Tripled मतलब 3 गुना income उनकी बढ़ गई. Now, unlike the contractors, the TMS stocks the reservoir at its own cost, right? And policies the reservoirs against poachers. Protect करता था उनको poachers के against reservoir में अपना proper management करते थे कैसे they can, how can they do fishing there, and they manages the stock in an efficient manner, right? They manage the stock in
Yes,
a
ma'am.
very efficient manner, right? Now, how did the income triple? The income tripled because they also learned the skill of hatching fish eggs, right? And it is marketing the fish to distant markets like Kolkata and Guwahati, where fish fetches a better price. उन्होंने अपने fish को वहां
So
बेचना.
what is the hatching?
Hatching means
Ma'am, what is the
breaking of the fish egg to produce baby fishes from it, right? So
okay, ma'am.
protect करते थे उनको fish eggs को, right? मतलब एक type से breeding kind of you can say, right? The chick hatches out of an egg. Similarly, fish also hatch out of an egg. Fish also lay eggs, right? So, for the first time in Madhya Pradesh, the TMS has attempted to provide an alternative means of livelihood to people. Apart, like पहली बार इन्हें कुछ एक अलग livelihood मिला tribal people को जो कि dam से displaced हुए. Otherwise, these people have just suffered, right? Now, this dam was built as a part of Narmada project. I don't know whether you have you heard of Narmada Bachao Andolan? Narmada dam को लेके बहुत
Yes,
सारे
ma'am, I heard
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
I heard it about it. Oh, ma'am, I have not heard.
Ma'am, heard.
heard नहीं heard.
मैम नर्मदा
No,
रिवर
I
तो आया
haven't heard.
On the Narmada River when the dam was being made, then only many campaigns started because of all these things. While in some struggles for inequality are expressed in the form of organized struggles, कुछ लोगों ने organized struggles की तरीके से किया. A number of people who are oppressed, who fight for oppressed, express their desire for equality through songs, poems, dance, and dramas. And these people inspire the people to fight for injustice. They inspired people during our freedom struggle and continue to do so. While some struggles for inequality are expressed in the forms of organized struggles, others are find expression in different ways. A number of people who are oppressed who fight for the oppressed, express a desire for equality through songs, poems, stories, and drama. These help to inspire the people to fight for injustice, and they inspired people during our freedom struggle, and they're even doing so. Have you understood about the
Yes,
Tawa
ma'am.
Baksa song, children?
Yes, ma'am. Easy.
Easy it is. Now, the last topic of this chapter is left, that is the Indian Constitution, a living document. Now, children, as we know that all these struggles for equality stem from the belief that all are equal in the eyes of law. Everybody is equal in the eyes of law. They draw their support from the Constitution, which has made provisions for equality. Our Constitution have always talked of equality. They have always given us beliefs that equality is this and that. So the federations of fish workers like TMS, women's organizations in the movements and provisions in constitution would become a reality. People have always did struggle so that whatever things are mentioned in the constitution, we can bring them to reality as well. If it is written in the constitution that everybody is supposed to be treated equal, then they must be treated equal in reality too, right? So the constitution, referring to the constitution, they use it as a living document, something which has real meaning in our life. Equality is central to any democracy, and people in democracy are forever trying to expand this idea. No democracy can survive without equality, right? Sushant, read next.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sushant,
Yes, ma'am, I didn't
And
know.
chapter
From where I have
finish.
to read.
what beta?
I have to read from Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution, a living document.
Yes, from the third paragraph. However, the chapters that we study in this book.
Equality is central to any democracy, and people in democracy are forever trying to expand this idea. However, in the chapter that we study in this book, we looked at the challenges that are posed to a democracy in the form of existing inequalities. These inequalities exist against the what's this written?
Marginalized sections.
Marginalized sections of societies, the Dalits, women, and tribal, the poor, and the disputed. What one must remember in the end is that to make democracy a success, the dignity and respect of a person must be respected. Discrimination of any ground should be prevented. Inequality has
Existed.
existed for a long time, and only through consistent efforts can be what is written?
Eradicated.
Eradicated. Ma'am, what's this meaning?
Eradicated मतलब
Ma'am,
निकालना
can I
है,
audible
खत्म
to
करना है
you?
इस चीज को. Yes, beta, you are audible to me. Right? So here they have told that in the entire chapter, in the entire civics book, we have all the chapters of civics. We have just been reading about democracy, equality, what these things are, right? So we have to see that there are like challenges are still coming in front of democracy in the form of existing inequalities. There are few inequalities in a society which have been existing from time immemorial, and they're still present in society. Like they exist in the form of inequality against the marginalized section of society, like Dalits, women, tribals, the poor, and the destitute. But we must remember, democracy will only become a success if you are respecting the dignity of an individual, right? So we should not practice discrimination on any ground. And inequality, what time said, has existed for a long time, but with consistent efforts, it can be eradicated. We can end it, right, kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now
Yes, ma'am.
identify the person in the given picture. He is known as father of Indian.
We are not done picture-based questions of other chapters.
We'll do in the revision.
Ma'am, Bhimrao Ambedkar.
He is, yes, he is
Ma'am,
Bhim Rao.
father of Indian Constitution.
Who is
Dr.
he?
Bria.
He is Bhim
And
Rao
Dr. Bhimrao
Ambedkar.
Ambedkar.
What role did he play in the making of Indian Constitution?
Ma'am, he was the head of the he was the head of that agency
Drafting
who
committee.
made the
He was the head of the
uh,
drafting committee. Please write it down.
drafting.
I wrote the points down. His name is B.R. Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ambedkar, and he was the head of the drafting committee.
Ma'am, head of
Drafting committee.
com drafting committee. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, now we can do exercise.
Yes. Choose the correct answer. In
Okay.
the efforts for equality, collective methods like establishment of
Cooperatives. Cooperatives.
Next is a number of people who are opposed or who fight for oppressed express the desire for equality through
Ma'am, violence against the oppressors. Ma'am, so ma'am, A1.
C1 through songs, poems, dance, and drama. We have read
Ma'am,
in the
but ma'am,
last.
how ma'am it is?
See it. Look at my screen.
Okay, ma'am, looking.
The box.
I'm in case study.
Yes, in the case study, last paragraph they have mentioned it. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Right. Next is women, tribals, Dalits, poor, and minorities are
Discriminated against.
very good, discriminated against. The TMS was successful in bringing about a unique experiment which allowed the fishermen to fish in the
Tawa Lake.
Tava reservoir.
Tawa Lake. Tawa,
Ma'am, Tawa. Ma'am, reservoir.
Ma'am, reservoir.
right? Yes, Tawa reservoirs. Right. Next is the struggle for equality stemmed from the belief that all are equal in the eyes of
Law.
correct.
Law.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill in the blanks. Tawa is a tributary in the river Dash and Dash.
Ma'am, Narmada.
Is a tributary of the river Narmada in Madhya
Ma'am,
Pradesh.
Ma'am, Madhya Pradesh.
Ma'am, can you tell me 51, ma'am? Filling the blank.
The law, rule of the eyes of the law.
Okay, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, what's TMS?
Tawa Macha Sang, beta.
Okay.
In the effort
Did you
being
know this
encouraged.
chapter was?
Yes, ma'am.
I told you this is one day chapter only. Okay, now in the effort for Dash, collective methods like establishment of cooperatives have also been encouraged.
Ma'am, 1 minute. Ma'am, I can't find
Ma'am,
ma'am answer in this chapter.
Ma'am, equality.
Equal, very good, Yash. In the effort for equality.
Ma'am, I just read the MCQ first one.
Exactly. Right. Next is the TMS stocks the reservoir dash and polices the reservoir against poachers. You'll find the answer in that case study.
Ma'am, today we
Ma'am,
can
in
complete
case
10,
study.
20 words.
We will
Answer
not do
this.
all the questions, but don't worry. Yes.
Oh,
now-
yeah.
Duck, stop shouting like a child. Yes. Next is the Tawa Dam was built as a part of the
Ma'am, Narmada. Ma'am, Narmada. Ma'am,
Narmada.
Sorry,
Tawa.
ma'am. I was very excited.
Narmada.
We can do some. We will do some questions.
Excuse me,
Next
ma'am.
is Hanji Sushant.
Ma'am, what's the third fill in the blank?
Reservoirs stocks the reservoir at its own cost. At its own cost.
Yes, ma'am.
At its own cost.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is Narmada project. The last is
Ma'am, Narmada project.
Tawa was
Yes, ma'am.
constructed and completed between dash and dash. You have
Ma'am, the
underlined it?
dam. Ma'am, 1959 and 1978.
9 and 1978.
Yes, 1959 and 1978. Very good. Let's do
If-
true and
yes,
false.
ma'am.
Poverty is the main cause for forcing people to live in
Ma'am.
unequal conditions.
Excuse
Ma'am,
me, ma'am.
false.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, what is ma'am second fill in the blank?
Beta, please tell in the second fill in the blank. It is effort for
At
equality.
Ma'am, first is true.
Ma'am,
Yes,
inequality.
equality.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, true.
Krishna. First is
Ma'am,
true.
first is
You
true.
said false. It is true. Okay. Poverty is
Yes,
the main
ma'am.
cause for forcing people to live in unequal conditions. Inequality has existed for a long time and can never be removed.
True.
Ma'am, false.
false.
Ma'am, it can be
False, ma'am, false.
removed.
It can be removed, right? Exactly.
No, never we can cut.
Yes, you can cut never. Next is the TMS is a private contractor that has gained fishing rights in Tawa Reservoir.
True.
Ma'am,
Are
true.
they private contractors? No,
Ma'am, so what you will write?
they are a cooperative.
Okay.
Ma'am, false. Ma'am, it is false.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is Martin Luther King Jr.
Third.
became famous for his struggle against racial discrimination.
True, ma'am.
True.
True.
Ma'am, what's the man racial?
Ma'am, in third one, what we
I
ma'am,
told
in
you
third
that
one,
racial
what we
means
can write?
discrimination on the basis of skin color.
Yes,
What we can
ma'am.
write in third?
Third,
Third
corporate.
TMS is a cooperative that has gained fishing rights in the Tawa Reservoir.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is
So, ma'am, third one is false.
yeah, folks.
Yes.
Next is the construction of the dam over the Tawa brought development and better living conditions for the tribals in surrounding areas.
Ma'am, yes,
Ma'am,
true.
true.
False.
Ma'am, T.
False. 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 False.
T.
Ma'am,
False.
true.
T, T,
But
T,
why?
T.
I'm
Beta,
true.
do they actually bring better living conditions for the tribals?
No, ma'am. Ma'am.
No.
True, ma'am.
False it is. It did not bring better living conditions for the tribals.
Ma'am, what one is the
Ma'am,
correct
we
one?
will cut better.
Yes, you got better. And it did not bring
Ma'am, can we
better
send on group?
conditions. Yes,
Ma'am, you will, ma'am, 10. Ma'am, tell us the ma'am question answer. We will write and post on the evening.
yes, I'll tell you which question answers we
Ma'am,
have.
I will send you all the answers in tomorrow.
Children, now I
Ma'am, I know.
see
Ma'am,
we'll do
I know
this
what
one,
you will do.
this
In this
one,
question. Ma'am, all short answers, only 150, 70, 180, 100.
this, and one from that we will do. How is constitutional living document? The F one.
Ma'am,
Okay.
no.
What is? Let's discuss them. And
Ma'am,
children, can you do
Ma'am,
them
so
on your-
ma'am, these questions will come out. Well, means that questions they cut we will not
Ma'am,
do,
80 and 100.
that will not come in exam.
Ma'am, which
No,
question
that
we
will
have
not
to
come
do?
in exam. We'll do 4 questions in the chapter. And see, the second of D1 and second of E1 can be done together. Because the question is, what is Tawa Matsya Sangh and what was the issue for which TMS fought?
Okay,
What is
ma'am.
the answer?
Ma'am, which
Ma'am,
questions we will do?
Ma'am, I.
I have taken them.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
I.
3 only.
One more we'll do, but
Okay,
that is
then.
of F part. How is constitutional living document?
Can I?
We're not the 1021.
Ma'am, first one, ma'am, what is Tawa Master Singh? Ma'am, Tawa Master Singh, Tawa Master Singh was a cooperative of the fishermen who fought for the right of a displaced tribal for Satpura forest in Madhya Pradesh to fish in the water of a reservoir created by construction of a dam here. And ma'am,
Right.
second one, what
What was the
what was the issue for which a TM fought? Ma'am, 1 minute.
See, I think it's almost the same. You have already said what was the issue they fought for. You have already
Yes,
mentioned
ma'am.
like they fought for it, right?
Ma'am, where ma'am can you mark it? Ma'am, please highlight.
See, although you have already marked it, right? Like first, so it will be that
Ma'am, both answers are same.
are same, right? That is why I was saying you can write both the answers together. What is Tawa Matsya Sangh? Tawa Matsya Sangh is a cooperative of a fishermen who fought for the rights of
Right.
displaced tribals of Satpura forest,
Ma'am,
right?
ma'am, in our own words.
In Madhya Pradesh to fish, yes, in your own words, to fish in the waters of the reservoir created by the dam, created by the construction of dam there. Here we
Here.
can do it there. Okay.
And my second one.
Ma'am, we can do both the questions in
In one, right?
question.
Write both the
Ma'am,
questions
mixed, ma'am, we
together.
can
Only
mix.
this chapter we will do 2 questions.
4 questions. I'll tell you one more, right? So I think this will be the same answer for both the questions, right? This is the issue which they have fought for,
Yeah.
right?
Ma'am, I can't understand.
Beta, both the questions have the same answer. What was Tava Macha Sang and what was the issue they fought for? Tava Macha Sang was a cooperative fisherman. They fought for the rights of displaced tribals of Satpura forest in Madhya Pradesh to fish in the waters of reservoir created by the construction of dam there. Got it?
Okay, ma'am.
So
Yes,
both the
ma'am.
questions will have the same answer only, right? So you can write both the
Yes,
questions together and write down the answer, right?
Ma'am, like what is Tava Matsya Sang
Uh,
and what was the issue of
Ma'am.
the Tava Matsya Sang?
Exactly. What is Tava Matsya Sang? What was the issue? TMS fought for, right? Next is you will do what was the constitution? What does the constitution say regarding equality of people? What does the constitution say regarding equality of people?
Ma'am, 1 minute. Ma'am, regarding my equality of people, equality.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, equality is central to any democracy, and people in a democracy are forever trying to
Constitution
expand
says
this
that
idea.
everybody is equal in the eyes of law,
Yes.
right?
So, ma'am, we have to write only this one.
Right, right. The constitution
Ma'am, where
says
is the answer?
that all are equal in the eyes of law, right? That's it. The constitution says
Ma'am,
that
only
Ma'am, only
this.
this much is the answer.
yes, 10 to 20 words it is no.
Oh, ma'am, this is very short.
The constitution says that everyone is equal in the eyes of law, right?
Law.
And ma'am, last answer, how is our constitution of a living?
This is very important, children. The last answer. How is constitution a living document? Right? How is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
constitution a living document? Can anyone give me the answer of this? Here, children, you have to
Ma'am.
think about your own because direct answer is not given in the book. Living document का मतलब क्या होगा?
Ma'am, can you, ma'am, say in
रहने
Hindi,
वाले
ma'am?
कागज
Ma'am, can you tell in Hindi, ma'am, meaning of this question?
मतलब constitution is not rigid, fixed नहीं है वो. Living document मतलब जीता जागती चीज है, हम उसमें changes कर सकते हैं. It is not something like which has been made and left like and we have been following like that only. No, we make changes in it from time to time. Wherever we feel that no, new things must be added, some things must be changes. So all these things we are doing in that. Okay, children, so let's do one thing. I'll help you with this answer. Okay, I'm sending this answer in the group.
Ma'am, that
Ma'am,
one
we
you
have
will
to
write.
send, ma'am, question answer,
Ma'am.
ma'am,
So,
evening.
ma'am, we have.
Ma'am,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Beta.
So, ma'am, we have to only do the 4 questions.
Yes, these 4 questions only need to know the chapter.
And ma'am,
And the
second
Ma'am,
answer
what
you will be
the
sending that we will write only.
Yes, the answer I'm sending you write this only. Right?
ma'am,
Ma'am, I will send you tomorrow, ma'am, all the question answers.
Will you be if it will be good if you'll be sending me today only the question answers?
ma'am, in evening, ma'am, I
Ma'am,
will
I will
send
send
you.
it to
Chapter 9 is also incomplete.
See, I've shared an answer with you. See, like you can see, it is known as living document because it can be changed or amended. Children, one more thing. Whenever we make a change in the constitution, we do not call it we are making a change in it. We call that an amendment has been made in the constitution. Now I'll just explain you it a bit. Now you might have seen every time new rights are added, like if we talk about right to information is a new right, RTI. It was not earlier in the constitution, right? It has just
Yes,
been
sir.
added. New provisions are also added. That is why our constitution, it has been 77 years, but still our constitution is still in practice, right? Our democracy is still rock solid. It's just because the constitution is a living document, it allows us to make changes in it. Has it been very rigid? अगर ये बहुत rigid होता हम इसमें changes नहीं कर सकते तो maybe हमें इस constitution को हटा के कुछ और adopt करना पड़ता. But why this constitution has been a success? Because we have got this freedom to make changes in it from time to time, because with time everything changes, right? So we cannot
Yes,
follow the
ma'am.
same old rules, right? Like nowadays we're
Yes,
having
ma'am.
classes like this, which was never a rule. But things are changing, so we have to adapt with the change, right? That's what it is. So children, the syllabus is completed now. From Monday, we'll begin with the revision. I'll show the revision schedule.